Sometimes the best of plans need a helping hand. If you need it, look this way. Here I am. Sometimes the things you do need someone to help you through. Look around, look this way. Here I am. You can try your best alone to bring the things you need on home, but the burden's easier to bear when a friend can help you there. So just know I respect your strength, but we'll go to any length. If you want help, look this way. Here I am. No judgment, no restriction, just a friend's conviction to help. Look this way. Here I am. The things that brought us together, trust shared in each other, mutual understanding can make a softer landing. Sometimes the best of plans need a helping hand. If you need it, look this way. Here I am. Sometimes the things you do need someone to help you through. If you need it, look this way, look this way. Here I am. If you need it, if you need it, if you need it, if you need it, you're mine. If you need it, look this way. Here I am.
Good morning.
Good morning.
So here we are. All right. So welcome to Unity Spiritual Center Spokane, where we are all about the mission of transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in our world. My name is Darlene Walsh-Martin, and I'm going to be the platform assistant this morning. If everyone could please take a moment to silence your cell phones, it would be greatly appreciated. As always, we want to begin our time together by sharing our opening affirmation. I will say it once and then ask you to repeat it with me. There is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. Together, there is only one presence and one power active in my life and in the universe, God the Good. This is Unity's foundation principle. One presence, one power, one life. One life living through and as each one of us. This morning, we're going to be hearing from our transformational speaker, Karen Dunmore, with her message entitled, God in Training. So Karen will also be leading us in today's meditation. And now it's time for some news you can use from Amber McKenzie.
I also just want to say that we're excited to have Michael Robinson in the house performing live music, which is very exciting. We love live music. Okay, news you can use. So let's see, we don't have much this week. I'm sure you're all sad to hear. But the first thing we have is next Sunday at 9 a.m. we have Joan Breckling, who will be doing our Spiritual Journeys meditation service at 9 a.m. And it will be the affirmation circlets and loving kindness meditation. So please join Joan next Sunday at 9. And then at 10 a.m., we have Ryan Sawyer, who will be speaking on letting go to find freedom. And Ryan says that his talk will center on understanding how the ego will try to pull us back down to a known, comfortable existence through justification and rationalizations. And his 3-step process to let go and feel our childlike sense of wonder, to follow our passions and rise above ego-based thoughts, to gain a stronger sense of self. Sounds awesome. So join us next Sunday for Ryan's talk. And then the following Sunday, June 20th, that is Father's Day, isn't it? Yes. So we have, I'm sorry. I've got it twice up there. That's wrong. So next Sunday is Joan's affirmation circlets. I think the following Sunday, June 20th, does anybody know what the spiritual journey? David McClure. Okay. So sorry about that. David McClure will be doing his meditation. What is that one called again, Joan? It's such a good one. Notes from the Universe. That's what it is. So join David for Notes from the Universe, and then we will have Richard Seaman back. And his talk title is The 9 Keys to Balancing the Chaos in Your Life. Love it. 9 keys. So join us for that. Looking forward to it. And then the only other thing we have is coffee in the prayer garden. So join us right after services, just out the door to the prayer garden. We'll have coffee and tea and fellowship. Looking forward to that. And now we have a very important board update, and Joan Breckling and Al Konigsfeld will be giving that. Come on up.
Good morning. I'm just really glad to be here today, glad to see all of you, whether you're here in person or online. As you know, we conducted a survey a few weeks ago, and the board has been considering what our next steps are in our reopening, given the latest changes from the governor and from the CDC. But before we go into that and the survey results, I want to just make a few comments. As I've been thinking about this, which I've been doing a great deal over the last month, I've realized that it's really important that we all enter into the changes as they come, understanding that it's an opportunity to manifest who we've really come here to be. That is the most important thing. Wherever we're sitting, whether we're wearing masks, whatever we're doing, that we are first and foremost here to to live that light that's within us and to be community with each other. So that is the spirit in which we want to always hold that. Everybody is welcome, whatever their vaccination status or whatever their beliefs about anything are, that we all are community and that we're here to maintain that. To remember that nothing is against us, and that we can use the spiritual tools we have, including the Q process, to navigate our reactions to whatever it is that we are meeting in our lives, including our changes here at Unity. You can guess that I'm kind of preparing you that there are going to be some changes, and that they may not be to everybody's liking, but we're doing our very best to meet as many needs as we can. So I wanted to share our community cue card. It says, and I'm going to paraphrase it a little bit. I'm going to say, in fact, I'm going to say this and ask you to say it after me if you're at home or here. So I'll say, let us have compassion for one another together. Let us have compassion for one another when we are fearful, victim, not important, not enough, distrusting, or powerless. For this is who we have come here to be. Together? This is who we have come here to be. In integrity, transformational, compassionate, empowered, emotionally and spiritually mature, and generous. Thank you. So, as we move beyond any kind of judgment or about what anybody else believes or wants to do, let's just remember that whether we are seeing each other full face or just with the eyes, that we are always beholding the Christ in one another. That's what we're here to do. So, I'm going to go into, I meant to share this picture with you as we did that. This is from, was it 2013? I think it was the last time we did a directory, so some of these people are gone. This is just half of the group in the picture. Some have come since then, and many of us are still here. But it just spoke to me of the community we are. So I just wanted to share that picture. So, our survey results. I'm going to just go through one question at a time and share with you what those are. So we had 130 respondents. That is the exact same number of people that we had participate in Conscious Conversations 3 years ago. So, yay us. I think that is to me, that was the most impactful thing of any of this information. Our overall vaccination rate at present is 92% of those who are coming here. We did a survey over 2 weeks of those who were attending, and that came to 94% of people currently coming were fully vaccinated, or partly vaccinated, actually. Those are people who'd had at least one shot. The vote about loosening restrictions, it was a broad wording that we used. It didn't say specifically what that would look like. It went back and forth. Yes, sometimes was in the lead. No, sometimes was in the lead. But in the end, yes was 52% and no was 48%, which tells us that there are a number of people who are fully vaccinated who still support keeping the restrictions we have. And then there are a fair number who would like to loosen them. I mean, there's a majority who would like to loosen them. So here is, we ask if people haven't returned in person, why or what contributes to that. So I'm going to have to read this up close. So 34%, this is how much people have returned in person, that's right, sorry. So about a third of us are either attending as much as we did before the pandemic or at least some, more than just occasionally. 16% have returned 1 or 2 times, and 50% have not yet returned or have just said, no, we are not returning yet. So that tells us that we have, that kind of fits the numbers. We have anywhere, 25 to 40 here on a Sunday currently. So there were lots of reasons put out, choices that were put out in the survey about what contributes to people not coming back yet. And I just shared the top two because it took up a good proportion of the answers. And those two were, they're not in the habit of attending anymore, or they just prefer watching online. I remember Gary Simmons said to us, you need to understand that you're moving into a time when you're going to have part of your congregation regularly coming in person like they always have, and there's going to be, you may be drawing new people, or there may be some of those people who've come before will prefer to become an online part of your congregation on Sunday mornings. So we acknowledge and welcome all of that, everybody who chooses to participate as they can. If you're one of those who has not come back yet, just because your habits have changed, we invite you to join us. This is a great habit to come on Sunday morning and join with other people if that is meaningful to you. And if you're one of those who choose to, to be in our online congregation, we certainly encourage you, if you're able and interested, to connect in other ways through classes or through book groups or spirit groups or service projects or some way so that we can all connect with each other at some point along the way. So let's see here. I think that is the end of the survey. Yes. So Al is now going to come up and share with you what the board has come up with for our next steps.
Good morning, all. So, this was a, let's say, painstaking process, and I want to give Joan some credit. We got the written instructions from the state. We read them through. She had enough questions that she went and spent hours on hold to get clarifications. Then we got together as a group, and we had more questions, and she went back on hold to get all these things answered. So this was not an easy process. So let's see, where's our plus here? Oops, not that one. On the right. So, after we went through all of the results, they basically gave us an ultimatum. We can stay with the 20 to 30 people we have here, or we can jump through some hoops and go back to having a bigger congregation. And that is what we ultimately chose to do. So we're fully based on this huge piece of paper. We are going to begin next Sunday. So during the week, I will be coming in, Amber will be coming in. We are going to rearrange the seating here. And the method is so that we can have up to 100 people in this room at one time and still be compliant with all of the state regulations. So what I'm going to do is next time you come in, you'll see our center aisle just as it used to be, where the ushers actually walked up and down. And that center section will be an all-inclusive mask. So if you want to wear your mask and you want to sit next to somebody regardless of vaccination, you can do that. There will be another section for those who want to come to church and actually have to shave. I'm sorry, be able to wear, not to come unmasked. So there will be a section that will be for people who are, this is one of the requirements that we fought against the most and that we ultimately had to accept, was we are going to need to show, if you want to sit in that section, proof of vaccination each time. And I'm sorry about that. We were talking about spreadsheets, we were talking about all sorts of stuff, and eventually they said no. So I have my vaccination card on my phone, and I simply have an image, and I can show it to Alan as I walk in the door in the morning. That's what it's going to take to sit in that section. Okay, there it is. So, and then there will be some chairs, just as they are right at the moment, for those who are not yet comfortable sitting with a bunch of other people. I know that we went to our first party last night, and it was strange. After a year and a half or so of just not being with people, wow, there are people here and they're close. So, so for those who feel that they want to be a little separate, there will be a section for them. All right, good. Masks. Required indoors except for those who have shown proof of vaccination. For the meditation service, I did one this morning. We did it unmasked, but we had pretty good distance in there. Weren't enough people to make that much difference. That will be, I basically took a poll and I asked if anybody was uncomfortable taking their mask off. If somebody had said, yes, I am uncomfortable, I would have continued to wear my mask. But since my group said, no, we're all comfortable, we're all vaccinated, then I said, fine, let's take our masks off. You can actually hear me as I'm leading the meditation. So nobody's going to be asked to show that they are unvaccinated. So if you want to be in the section, you have to show your little proof of vaccination card. But just to come. We're not going to ask for your papers. Okay, so some things will not change. Still going to have to log in as you come in the morning. But we no longer need reservations. This has actually been true for some weeks, and we just haven't done a good job of communicating it. So if you're at home and you're thinking what a pain it was to go in and find the page and do the contact and act as if you were ordering tickets, you don't have to. Just come. Congregational singing. This is a big change. For a long time there, they said even though we were wearing masks, you weren't supposed to sing. They have loosened up regulations and they are saying we can in fact sing. Hugging. This is sort of a bizarre one because we all laughed at it. Yes, 2 vaccinated people can hug, but they suggest sanitizing before and after each hug. That's actually what they said. Now, we do have sanitizer in the back. If you want to follow that, it's going to be a little time consuming, but go for it. Yes? Oh. Yes, everybody can hug if they're masked. If unvaccinated, vaccinated, you don't have to wear your mask. But you're still supposed to sanitize. Small groups, social distancing not required for 15 individuals or less. Once again, it's more like the meditation groups. And we are going to continue the outdoor coffee klatch in the prayer garden as it has been the last few weeks. That has worked out really nicely. We've had probably a third of the congregation out there on any given Sunday. All right, and I guess that is it for my part of it. Thank you all so much.
the dark and lonely woods of life. When you're stopping for the night, and you need a fire to keep you warm, and you can't get it to light. Take a prayerful moment, calm yourself and try again. The spark that's glowing in your heart will help a blaze begin. I'm in touch with the power, and I'm soaring sweetly high. I'm in touch with the power, and racing across the sky. The fire of believing has put a sparkle in my eye. I'm in touch with the power, getting better every hour, like a cleansing thunder shower. It washes over me, makes me sing and sets me free. I'm in touch with the power I believe. Don't think that you are alone, that no one gives a care. There's a source of power, love and light, it's really always there. You must believe and stand your ground, and make a firm appeal. Amazing things will come to pass, show you that it's real. Be in touch with the power, and soaring sweetly high. You're in touch with the power, and racing across the sky. The fire of believing has put a sparkle in your eye. You're in touch with the power, getting better every hour, like a cleansing thunder shower. It washes over me, makes me sing and sets me free. I'm in touch with the power I believe. I'm in touch with the power, getting better every hour, like a cleansing thunder shower. It washes over me, makes me sing, sets me free. I'm in touch with the power I believe.
Thank you, Michael. It's so good to have you back in this center. Just love it. So, as you know, the name of my talk title is God in Training. I had a little God training this week and some transformational experiences that I had. One was that I started to move into my new place on Friday. Friday night, I had a car accident, and my car is undrivable. But I do have a 1988 Toyota pickup that doesn't run, but it walks fast. So, so I did my last load of stuff with that and my son and daughter-in-law. But yeah, so it's been a really exciting week. And then last night I stayed in my place for the first time. So that was really cool. So slept in my brand new bed. Anyway, that's it for me. The purpose of this life is to find yourself, to know yourself, to feel the throb of the ocean of God's presence in your heart. That's a quote from Paramahansa Yogananda. The throb of God's presence in your heart. I can feel that. I love that statement. So just take a moment to just feel yourself into the core of that message. Immerse yourself in it, because God's presence is everywhere. I know that there are some who don't particularly like the word God, so I made up an acronym for you all. Gift of Divinity. So God is the gift of divinity. I like the word God, however. It's short, it's easy, it's genderless, and it is a term for the infinite flow of goodness, the universe, my all in all, the energy that holds the world and everything in it. God is universal truth, principle, love. We are filled with it, wrapped in it, and infused with it, because we are made in the image and likeness. We are built of God's stuff. God loves things by becoming them. I heard that just last week in a workshop I was in with Paul Smith, the author of Integral Christianity. That statement so touched me in both its simplicity and its depth. God loves things by becoming them. That means that God became you, and God became me. God became all of us. Because God is love, therefore we are love. I think we all know that, but we don't always want to take ownership of that. It just seems way too big, doesn't it? We especially when we are not at our best. We are one, all of us, gifts of divinity, incorporated as one with divine mind. Think of the miracle of our being, how we started out as atoms, then molecules, cells, organisms. From the moment we were conceived, we were growing, we were evolving. That was our job then, it's our job now, it's our job always, growing and evolving. We are born just this tiny bundle of potential, and that first breath connects us with all life. There is life and intelligence that was breathed into us, and that is not explicable, not in the human mind. For me, the concept of God as energy, as a mighty force, that explanation works for me. God as gravity, holding the cosmos in a gigantic force field, ever growing, ever expanding, just the same as we do. So as God in training, we continue to explode way beyond the limitations of our bodies and minds, exponentially transforming and pushing the universe to make room for us. You would think that the universe would expand before we could, But here's the deal. We are ever expanding. We are expanding as the universe subsequently expands to make room for our ever-expanding consciousness. We're not expanding to fill a space. The universe is expanding to give us room to create the wondrous things we can only imagine right now. The universe is following our lead, and we are pushing the universe to expand. Well, you may wonder where I'm going with this talk, and frankly, there have been moments that I wondered where I was going with this talk. So last Saturday morning, as I was walking in my garden, this is at my home in Coeur d'Alene, I got some clarity in sort of a convoluted way. I walk every morning through my garden while my oatmeal is cooking on the stove inside. I greet each flower and plant, and I celebrate them, whatever stage of development they are in. I am delighted by each new leaf, and the opening of a bud positively thrills me. Today was a bonanza. I got another garden to walk in. I am fascinated by the climb of the clematis. Each day reaching for a new rung, they grow like feet every day, I think. The energy of the hostas as they break through the soil. You don't see them, and then suddenly they're there and they're big. It's like giving birth to a 3-year-old. Doesn't hurt that. Anyway, what else would I talk about but growth? The plants themselves, the cycle of birth, growth, expansion, and then the deep sleep of winter. I realized in that walk that the cycle of my garden is very similar to my own growth cycle. I am mesmerized by it, by change, by development, by evolution, in all forms, in the individual, families, groups, society, the planet, the universe, and in plants. So all the other stuff, the pendulum swing from anger, racism, and rage in the politics of the world to the everyday kindnesses of friends and strangers, the overwhelming compassion of others. The beauty of the spiritual world as we look within. That's where I want to live. It all has to do with evolving and growing, and it is all in divine order. This is the time, right now, of awakening and evolving, transcending and including. That's part of the evolutionary spiral we've talked about before. It is the change, the growth, the evolution, with everything seeming to spiral sometimes out of control. And that is just the natural cycle of change. The chaos before order, the storm before the rainbow. Every one of us is God in training, though many of us don't realize that. Some are just breaking through the soil, about to touch that first rung, while others are blooming in bright sunlight, much higher on that ladder of growth, reaching to the stars. Last year, I gave a talk at Unity Center for Divine Love and Light, aka Unity North. That talk was entitled Unleashing Your Force Potential. The idea of force potential really excited me, fascinated me. It was an expression I found in the foreword to Discover the Power Within You by Eric Butterworth. This quote is from him. All through the universe, there are force potentials. What we have called space is really a presence. I would have known that. Isn't that something? For there is one continuous, unified, intelligent, and inexhaustible potential that here and there precipitates itself as what we call matter. When I did that talk, I assumed we were matter. But now I am not so sure because we're always told we are energy. So I looked online to determine if we were indeed considered matter. Well, what I got was about 99% of your body is made up of atoms of hydrogen, oxygen, nitrogen, and carbon, and smaller amounts of some other elements. While most of the cells in our bodies regenerate every 7 to 15 years, many of the particles that make up those cells have actually existed, this is huge, for millions of millennia, not millions of years, but millions of thousands of years, right? The hydrogen atoms in you were produced in the Big Bang, and the carbon, nitrogen, and oxygen atoms were made in burning stars. The heaviest element in you were broadcast when stars exploded. So these atoms within us now carry the energy of the stars and planets. That's a pretty big thing. Don't you just love being stardust? The particles became somewhat spread out, and frankly, they only make up a tiny portion of our mass. The protons and neutrons inside of an atom's nucleus are each made up of quarks. I know I'm going a little bit out here. But the mass of these quarks accounts for just a few % of the mass of the proton or neutron. And there's something called gluons, which I don't know what they are, but they sound kind of like they might be in the Klingon family. I don't know, but really stick. So gluons are actually the carriers of the strong nuclear force that holds the quarks together. And they have no mass. So we still haven't figured out how we get to be like 100 and whatever pounds. So if your mass doesn't come from these masses of particles, where does it come from? Does anyone know? What's that?
We're mostly empty space.
Yeah, how about that? Yeah. But not weightless, are we? Anyway, it comes from energy. Scientists believe that almost all of your body's mass comes from the kinetic energy of the quarks and the binding energy of those gluons. In both physics and chemistry, matter exists both as wave and particle. And we've talked about that before. So this article goes on to say the universe is a continuation of the original explosion called the Big Bang. Many theories are incomplete, and one of them is that God caused the Big Bang. So that, for me, finally pulled that thread in a little bit. It builds a bridge sort of between science and spirituality, at least in my mind. A final writer said that yes, human beings are made of matter, as is everything else that exists that isn't energy. So what do you think of that? I mean, at one point they're telling us that our mass comes from energy, and this writer doesn't seem to agree. So it seems like we have an outer covering of flesh and bones that might be what is called matter, except there's a lot of little atoms and molecules in all of that. So the rest of us is energy. I'm calling it spirit. So just imagine the energy, this force potential that we hold inside us, the substance of which we are made, the energy, the spirit. That is why we have been chosen, why we are God in training, to use what we have learned, what we feel and believe, and what the heart knows to be true, in order to bring us into alignment with that source. In researching, I found that the force exists as both a living force and a cosmic force. We're all tied up in this whole universal field. The living force is the field of energy vibrating in all forms of life, and that includes us. This magnificent power is what we are made of. These energies feed the cosmic force, which is the glue that holds the galaxy together, that which connects us as one, which is the gift of divinity, or God. I'm going to speak about my experience of the energy field and oneness in just a few moments. You are one with the universal ground of oneness that unites your organism with all the universe. Again, this life is about finding ourselves, knowing who we truly are. Every step we take is training us to remember, or at least to emulate the very best of who we are. Just using our mission statement, for example, we do the work of God in training, transforming lives and inspiring people to make a positive difference in the world. And this is not just a one-time thing. This is the way we must live our lives. No matter who we meet, we leave an impression. If we're going to shift this paradigm, we need every impression to be a positive, life-affirming one. That's the work, and I know myself it's far from easy. Just last week, I fell off the positivity wagon for about a day, sinking into negativity because of something small and irritating, like trying to get the mortgage application just right, even though I had already submitted the items they had requested twice. So, after several hours on the phone and on the computer, I ended up going down into the basement where is my den, and it's cool, it's comfortable, and I just turned on Netflix and watched 2 sappy Netflix movies in the middle of a beautiful afternoon when I had planned to be packing to move into my new home. I simply didn't want to move my body, and my brain hurt. These negativity bouts usually pass, thankfully, very quickly. So I just went with it. Right now, we are all going through some big changes and challenges in our country. And a little topsy-turviness now and then is okay. We have just come off of the worst part, hopefully, of 15 months of isolation due to the pandemic. That was stressful for I think every one of us. There's much of upheaval and dishonesty, destruction within the politics of our beloved country. Many people are still out of work. This is a tremendous time of evolution. And at each previous time, when there was a huge shift in consciousness, beings of great light, creativity, and courage were born to hold the space for the consciousness of the world to evolve. We are those beings. We are the change we want to see in the world. We will go where we are led to do and do what we are meant to. Go where we are meant to go and do what we are meant to do. We are, after all, God in training. Something big is happening right now, and normal is just another word. There doesn't seem to be a constant that we can call normal. We're moving so quickly, and at the same time, it seems waiting for another shoe to drop. Just as a diamond is formed with incredible pressure, so are we developed through the pressure we experience. Did you ever have any idea that your task, your purpose, would be saving humanity and raising consciousness to a whole new level in order to shift the angle of this trajectory that we might usher in a new paradigm? Did you know from the time you were born, you were God in training? Who knew? So I said I would share with you my experience, and I hope it kind of brings this talk together To me, it's a confirmation of the movement of spirit and the energy of oneness. And this is something that I have been experiencing through my Joe Dispenza meditations. And I've been doing workshops and meditations with him for several years. So after one of my meditations, I had an experience which he had described as the activation of the pineal gland. I felt a rush of energy from my first chakra straight up through my whole body, lighting up every chakra along the way, every energy center. The intensity of it left me shaking, weeping, perspiring, energized, and filled with pure joy. After this particular event, meditation took on a life of its own, with those same centers leaving, and this is in meditation, leaving through the open portal of my crown chakra, which elongated and became hexagonal. I could see them spinning out of me and flying like the tails of a kite out in space, the red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, and white. Just amazing. But while I could see those leaving my body, I was in a totally different dimension. I could look back and see myself lying on my bed. And ahead, I could see myself coming through the darkness of space. I saw many kite tails as I got further up, further out, heading all in the same direction, out to the edge. I knew I was in a different dimension. I wasn't conscious of it, I was just experiencing it, and it was fabulous. At the same time, I saw many other kite tails heading out with me. So anyway, I just read that sentence a couple times there. I am sure I was just moving through space. I was seeing the space within me in my body, space before me out in the universe, and witnessing then from the outside a sparkling globe, like a disco ball, as every being in the universe connected with our hexagonal things all around the big globe. So we were the disco ball, we were the sparkling light. It was like a honeycomb, the way a honeycomb is joined, and we were formed in a ball, protecting the universe. As this globe forms from the inside, I see the tails of every other being, while their beings, human and otherwise, were like me, lying in bed, walking around, shopping, playing, but still tethered to that strand of energy, and they had no idea the fabulous awareness that was part of who they were. When I'm really focused, I can actually feel the oneness of every being in that globe. And from outside it all, I can see the beauty and the power. I can see planets entering into this space and merging into this disco ball, exploding and bringing new color to this glittering globe that was once whiteness. I can see from within all the colors of the chakra, and from outside, I can see the wonder and the magnificence of this stunning creation that is formed when we come together as one. I am one with the creation and one with the Creator, as we all are. God in training, together, we are exquisite, magnificent, and unlimited as we build a world that works for every single one of us. I realize when I go into this deep dreamless state, which is every time I do this one meditation, as I go into the emptiness, the void, I feel no pain. In fact, I don't even feel my body. My body just goes away, and I am unlimited, unfettered. I am one with the stars and planets. All the energy that moves in them also moves in me. I'm part of something so much bigger than me, the vast emptiness and depth of creation. We are all part of one big, messy whole. We evolve together to transform the world. We are God in training. And that is all there is. God bless. Did you do a song now? And so we have Michael coming back up, and then I'll be back to do the meditation. I'm going to just sit over now.
Thank you, Karen. Woo! Fill me with your endless love. Fill me with your joyful peace and your patience. Share with me as you are God, as you are God, as you are God. May I be. Fill me with your endless love. Fill me with your joyful peace and your patience. Share with me as you are God, as you are God, as you are God. May I be.
So now, take a moment, be comfortable in your seat, and take a good deep breath. Breathe in the energy of this room, and breathe it out. Let go of anything that is holding you back. We center ourselves now in the one presence and one power as we give thanks and open our hearts on this blessed Sunday morning. With your next in-breath, feel the energy in your hands. Feel the energy that is always there, that quiet little buzz, waiting willingly so that you might serve. Move the energy now into your heart space. Let it expand and fill that space that you might know the wisdom that you are. And in that wisdom, always express love. Feel the throb of the ocean of God's presence in you. Take a moment and really feel that. Feel it connect. And know that as you connect with it, it is also reaching out to connect with you. Send this love now beyond your body, and just as one big wave, let it roll over you, saturate you and everyone around you. Feel the magnificence that you are and the enormity of that gift that fills this center. As this center fills with the sacredness of your aliveness, feel the power that you exude and send the power of love out into the city of Spokane. throughout the state, throughout the country. Let it spread around the world and out into the universe. This is what you have come here to be. Gifts of divinity, expanding and evolving. God in training. Claim that. Own that. You are here by divine appointment to become a creator. Create that space now and feel the oneness with all as we take a moment in the silence. And when you are ready, come back into this space, back into from the cosmos to the universe, onto planet Earth, around the world, across the country, back into Washington, Spokane, and right into the seat you're sitting in. You can open your eyes when you're ready. God bless you all.
Anyone in the world reaches out, I want to be there. If anyone needs a hand to make a stand, I want to be there. Help someone in need, plant a healing seed. When the call comes in for help to begin, when anyone reaches out, I want to be there. Hey brother, hey there mother, know someone in pain? I've got a hunch that there's a bunch, let me just explain. Because we've been there before, we can share and even more. Bring somebody in the door, bring them in out of the rain. Anyone anywhere reaches out, I want to be there. When anyone needs a hand to make a stand, I want to be there. To help someone in need, plant a healing seed. To help one get a start, or support a struggling heart. To give myself a chance to play a little part. When a call comes in for help to begin, when anyone reaches out, I want to be there. Talking to your sister, you too, mister. Remember when you were down, stumbling in the dark, feeling kind of stark. There's a better route. A hand reached out and helped you up, helped you swallow coffee, gave you a coat, showed you the steps to take, wished you good luck, and look at what you found. Anyone anywhere reaches out, I want to be there. When anyone needs a hand to make a stand, I want to be there. To help someone in need, plant a healing seed. To help one get a start, or support a struggling heart. To give myself a chance to play a little part. When a call comes in for help to begin, when anyone reaches out, I'll be there. When a call comes in for help to begin, when anyone reaches out, I wanna be there.
Well, thank you very much, Michael. And Karen, thank you. Unity stands for peace in the presence of conflict, for love in the presence of hatred, for forgiveness in the place of injury. Unity stands for the many names for God, the many paths to God, for we know that there is only one power, one presence, one life. So whoever you are and wherever you are on your spiritual journey of transformation, you are welcome here. If you're new to our ministry and are interested in learning more about our upcoming transformational speakers, workshops, and events, please sign up for our email newsletter by texting Unity to 22828 or sign up on our website at unityspokane.org. We would also like to connect with you on our social media, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Just search Unity Spiritual Center Spokane to find us. So now let's take a moment to acknowledge and bless each other with a socially distanced namaste greeting. Whether you're here in the sanctuary or at home, please feel free to stand up if you are able and send your conscious, loving energy to those around you. Now is our time to celebrate abundance together as we share our gifts and love offerings. For those of you feeling the divine call to financially support our ministry today, you can drop off your offering in the glass bowl at the back of the sanctuary. Another option is to text GIVE to the number 253-528-7416 or visit our website unityspokane.org and click the donate button at the top. We want to acknowledge and to thank all of our automatic givers who have kept this ministry afloat during the time of COVID-19. Thank you so much for your ongoing contributions. Please know that your giving means so much to the vitality of this ministry. With that in mind, let's take a moment now to sink into our hearts and bring forth a feeling of gratitude and generosity as we say together our love offering blessing. I know that my giving blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, and all that I give and receive. I give thanks for the abundance that is mine to share. Now we want to talk about our chaplains. Our chaplains today are Gary and Theodora, who have been holding the service in prayer for us today. Chaplains, can you please stand? Okay, thank you. Thank you. The chaplain or chaplains that you see standing are available to pray with you immediately following the service and will be appropriately masked and distanced. If you have something that's heavy on your heart or something that you would like to celebrate, you can pray with one of these chaplains and they will hold it in prayer with you. They'll be available at the front of the sanctuary following the peace song. Thank you so much, Gary and Theodora, for your service today. We would also like to encourage anyone who is in need of prayer support to please fill out a prayer request form found at the table as you enter the sanctuary, or you can submit your request on our online form. Simply go to unityspokane.org and click the Contact Us button on the main page. You'll be taken to a prayer request form. Names are added to our prayer list and are prayed over for 30 days by our prayer ministry as well as Silent Unity. So, if we have children, they are going to be arriving soon. So let's welcome them in with Walking in the Light.
We are walking in the light, in the light, in the light. We are walking in the light, in the light of God. In the light, 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 in the light of God.
So we are very grateful for all of our young people here at Unity Spiritual Center, Spokane. So now let's take a moment to bless our children, youth, and those in service to our ministry with our children's blessing. So together, be the love you are, sing the song you hear, share your joy of life with people far and near. And be the love that we are, sing the song we hear, share our joy of life with people far and near.
Okay, guess what today is, everybody? It's Birthday Sunday, but not only is it Birthday Sunday for June birthdays, which I'm one of those, but also May birthdays, because we forgot last month. So, if you have a birthday in May or June, please stand up. We'd love to see you. Oh, see, there's more now. I love it. Let's sing the birthday song. Take it away.
Happy birthday, we love you. Happy birthday, and may all your dreams come true. When you blow out the candles, one last day's aglow. It's the love light in your heart wherever you go.
Now let us join together for our closing prayer for protection, and then that will be followed by the peace song. So let's go ahead, and the light of God surrounds us. I am the light of God. The love of God enfolds us. I am the love of God. The power of God protects us. I am the power of God. The presence of God watches over us. I am the presence of God. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. And that's the truth.